And how is everybody doing this fine day? My name is Alan Roberts, and we are back with what I'm going to consider to be a fun one. So, I talk a lot about ultra processed foods, eating whole foods, being healthy, those sorts of things. Um, I try to make it so people understand that avoiding these foods is paramount to your health. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of studies that show the deleterious effects of ultra processed foods, yet alone to the amount of consumption of ultra processed foods that Americans have. On the average, Americans consume well over 60% of their daily food calories from ultra processed foods. There are huge studies from places like Brazil and other places that show the massive amount of deleterious effects that these things have, including on cognitive decline, executive function of the brain decline, not to mention that they're highly associated with cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes. They're ultra highly palatable, so people get addicted to them and everything like that. And I, I don't, I think that we know as people, like, that food like products are not food. We just ignore it. Um, and I don't I don't understand why somebody would go out of their way to necessarily make it seem like ultra processed foods aren't quite that bad. Besides, just wanting to get likes, clicks, views, and be a complete total fuckhead. But uh, I'll introduce you to Layne Norton if you have not met him. Well, Layne is indeed a fuckhead for many reasons. I will uh, I will preface this by saying that him and I have never fucking liked each other. The last time he mentioned me, it was because he was like kind of getting a ha moment that uh, basically years ago, as this man was crippling himself uh, from lifting heavy with what was objectively horrible form. He recently set some sort of record, and if you blah blah blah, you said I'd be crippled by now. And I just wanted to say to Layne, congratulations on not crippling yourself like I predicted, because it really did look like you were going to cripple yourself. And I can personally say that I was wrong. You're still a piece of shit human being, Layne. And I know you're going to watch this, so just get this out there. You are a lying sack of fucking shit who cheated on his wife, who was home pregnant, already taking care of their special needs child, with a woman that then dropped you after she let you destroy your family. She led you to destroy your fucking family. She left you when she got her green card. So I wanted to say, for the record, Layne Norton is proof positive that you can have a PhD next to your name and be dumb as fuck. So congratulations on that, bitch. But here we are also going to take a strong look at this new video by Mr. Layne Norton. And I say Mr. because I refuse to call him Doctor, because fucking I'm not a goddamn idiot. So let's get to it, shall we? Let's see if I can do it this way. Well, he can be tiny. Who gives a fuck about him? So let's do this.
New study says ultra-processed foods can kill you. 3 takeaways coming next. All right, so we have a new study on ultra-processed foods, and in this study, they looked at 62,000 people and looked at...
By the way, when he says 62,000 people, of course, you are going to assume he means Americans. These are Chinese people. Okay, like, of course you're going to assume Americans, because that's what he's going to lead you to believe, and he's not going to correct you. Or maybe he does. I'm not sure. I don't want to misspeak, but here we go.
Different quintiles of ultra-processed food intake, and trying to associate those with overall all-cause mortality, cardiovascular disease mortality, cancer mortality, and things like respiratory disease mortality. And they followed these people over 25 years. Now,
which, by the way, can likely tell you that the fucking study's a piece of shit anyway. You're following people over 25 years. Did we record every bit of food that these fucking people took in? Did we check to make sure that they were in the proper quintile? Did we? Do you think so? You know, I find it wild, but I am at the very end of this. One, we're going to go over the study he's talking about, and then two, I'm going to give you the best fucking study on if ultra processed foods are bad for you or good for you fucking ever at the very end of this. So please do pay attention.
Main things they found were compared to the lowest level of ultra processed food intake.
The lowest level of ultra processed food intake, not no ultra processed food intake, the lowest level of ultra processed food intake. See how intellectually dishonest this man is? We might as well be his wife. That's how much he's lying.
The highest level of ultra processed food intake increased all-cause mortality by 6%. It also
notice how he doesn't like fucking like say what the percentages are or anything like that. So it only increased it by 6%, which, by the way, 6%. I do believe we closed a fucking country down for 3.4%, which was a fucking lie also. And the 6% increase is again off of the lowest quintile. It is not off of no ultra processed foods. He's completely intellectually dishonest. Not too long ago, maybe a year or two ago, he compared when people were saying berberine. Well, is berberine the nature's GLP-1? And he like went long, and he even compared weight loss. With weight loss with berberine, you only lose 12, like 6%, but with Ozempic, you lose 14%. And of course, that's different. But he didn't bother to mention in that the study that he was using for Ozempic was 68 weeks, and the study that he used for berberine was 12 weeks. If anything, it's a more applicable comparison for berberine and metformin anyway, seeing as how they have the same actions, which I am sure he fucking knows, but he just likes to present things to make himself look like the moderator of truth for the fucking nutrition industry, when in fact he's full of fucking shit and lies to us like we're his ex-wife.
Increased cardiovascular disease mortality by 8%, and it increased respiratory disease mortality by 10%. Now, what is my takeaway? Well, the first takeaway is we already know you should probably limit your intake of ultra processed foods.
And I'm actually shocked to hear him say this, but this is after you minimize this shit. Like, this is after you minimize the damage from ultra processed foods.
The second takeaway is while these were statistically significant, the overall power of the effect was very, very low. So
when you're comparing lowest quintile of ultra processed ingestion to highest, not highest to not ingesting them. Again, you're intellectually dishonest. You lie like we're your ex-wife.
Overall increase in absolute risk was 3%. Again, I'm not trying to minimize it. I'm just putting it in the appropriate context.
No, you're minimizing it because you're not comparing apples to apples. You're comparing, like, you are comparing ultra processed food at the highest intake to the lowest intake, not no intake. And you know it. Like, here's the thing, Layne. I know you're a smart dude. I know you are. I mean, you're still stupid, clearly, but I know you're smart enough to realize what the fuck you're doing. Like, he sits back and like, how can I make this seem like I am seeing things that people aren't? When in fact, you're just fucking lying. Well, you're not lying so much. You are just deceptively presenting things, which, I'm sure you have plenty of practice with.
Which leads me to my final takeaway. I try to point out to people that it is much more important the overall context of your diet. If you are consuming enough dietary fiber, if you're...
How much is enough? Show me a study.
Getting enough protein, if you're eating enough fruits and vegetables, if you are not smoking, if you are not drinking, or
I agree with those two.
Limiting your drinking, if you are not engaging in a bunch of risky behaviors, if you're wearing your seatbelt, all these...
Yeah, wearing your seatbelt and ultra-processed foods, totally the same thing, Layne, totally.
These things make a much bigger difference than the highest intake of ultra-processed foods versus the lowest.
Basically, he just made a video for stupid people not to understand. Like, oh, well, they're not that bad. They're not that bad. I can go along with it. Again, he even says at the very end of what he's comparing. And what he's comparing is not no ultra-processed foods to processed foods. So, I mean, and we can't expect him to be, this motherfucker would destroy his family over pussy. You can't be trusted. So, and I know people get like, oh, you're in his personal business. I don't give a fuck. Fuck Layne Norton. Fuck him. He's a piece of shit human being. And I don't give a fuck. Well, he's made a change. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. He still does shit like this. This is intellectually dishonest from somebody that has a PhD next to their name. This is intellectually dishonest. And that's what he is. Fucking dishonest. Let's go to the actual study, shall we? This is the actual study. Just so everybody understands and sees. This is the consumption of ultra-processed foods and risks of all cause and cause-specific mortality. The Singapore Chinese health study. Notice how he did not fucking really go into that. But let's see here. We can just scroll down. Discussion. In this prospective study of Chinese adults living in Singapore, higher ultra-processed food intake was associated with higher risks of mortality from all-cause cardiovascular disease and respiratory disease. The associations were still significant after accounting for dietary quality and antioxidant capacity. The association with all-cause mortality was significant for intakes of sweetened beverages and sugary products among the subgroups of UPFs. In stratified analysis, the UPF mortality association was stronger amongst non-smokers than smokers, which is weird. I would honestly believe it's because most smokers do not eat as many ultra-processed foods, and people that quit smoking tend to lean towards ultra-processed foods to get that dopamine hit. A recently published meta-analysis included studies conducted in Western countries, comprising 3 in the U.S., 2 in Spain, and 1 in France, and 1 in Italy. And the results showed that the highest category of ultra-processed food intake was associated with a higher risk of all-cause mortality compared to the lowest category group, 1.21. Oh, wait. I thought you said 6. Oh, no, you're fucking lying. Okay. The prospective urban and rural epidemiological study covered 7 regions that included countries, North America and Europe, South America, Africa, Middle East, South Asia, Southeast Asia, and China, and observed that the highest UPF association was intake was associated with a 28% higher risk of all-cause mortality compared to the lowest intake in the global analysis. Weird how he did not mention this, is it not? Because this is the fucking study that he just talked about. However, the authors did not do subgroup analysis by region or country, as for Asian countries, to our best knowledge, only 1 in Korea cohort investigated the association between ultra-processed food intake and all-cause mortality and observed non-significant results, which contradicted the significant results of our study of Chinese and Singapore. Nonetheless, this Korean study still observed significant association between higher intake of specific ultra-processed food subgroups, ultra-processed red meats, fish and fishes in both sexes, and milk and soy milk drinks in male, and decreased risk of all-cause mortality. Since different subgroups of UPF may have different impacts on mortality, the conflict between our results and those from the aforementioned Korean study could be explained by differences in intake. And I think he's actually done something on the Korean study too. But for cause-specific mortality, our findings of an association with cardiovascular disease were largely consistent with studies in the UK and Italy, which also observed a higher UPF intake was associated with higher risk of cardiovascular mortality. However, 1 Spain cohort and 3 U.S. cohorts observed null association with cardiovascular mortality. Our findings of a null association for cancer mortality was consistent with the null findings of 3 U.S. cohorts, but conflicting with the findings of significant results of the UK cohort. So let's go down to the conclusion. In this prospective study of Singapore Chinese adults, higher UPF intake was associated with higher risks of mortality from all causes, cardiovascular disease and respiratory diseases. Our findings showed that sweetened beverages, soft drinks, and sugary products, crackers, and Western cakes could be major subgroups contributing to the harmful association of UPFs with mortality. And this suggests that it could be feasible and beneficial to focus on reducing the consumption of these subgroups in the Asian population. More studies are needed. So just to put it out there, where do you think that most U.S. people, how much, where most U.S. people, seeing as how, 20% of all SNAP benefits were from sugary drinks. So this is my thought on him. This is always my thought on Layne. Layne will be intellectually honest. until it doesn't serve him to make money. This man likes to put himself in a position of being a fucking expert when he cherry picks shit out of studies, as I just fucking showed you. He cherry picks shit out of fucking studies. Ultra processed foods are not even foods. They are food-like products. You should try to eliminate them as much as possible. Make them a maximum of 10% of your total weekly caloric intake at most. Try for much lower than that. Try for much, much, much lower than that. Try to get to 5%. Try. But if you are taking in more than 20% ultra-processed foods, I am going to argue that it is, in fact, deleterious to you. You are, in fact, hurting yourself cognitively and physically. And there is so many ways. Is it could we talk about neuroinflammation from ultra-processed foods? Because ultra-processed foods are highly inflammatory, and high inflammation levels, especially morbidly obese people, causes what's called neuroinflammation, which causes cognitive problems. Like, we could go on and on and on about this. To place yourself as a PhD expert in nutrition and try to minimize ultra-processed foods to an audience that is vastly majority American, Layne, vastly majority American, and try to apply cherry-picked sentences from a fucking Chinese Singapore study makes you confirmed as the lying piece of shit asshole I've always fucking said you were. So now I will take questions, comments, and any Q&A that anybody wants to do. But I just wanted to say this for the record. Layne, you're a piece of shit. You are still lying, and you purposefully, and I do mean purposefully, made this video to look like you were being the voice of reason when you were in fact being deceptive. Have a good day, bitch. Now, bro lied about half the study. Yep, that's what he does. I mean, shit, he spent an entire fucking couple years lying to his wife that he wasn't banging some fucking fitness person while she was at home taking care of their special needs child, pregnant with his other fucking child. So what do you expect, kid? I mean, like, how just fucking ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. As I said earlier, even a corruptifornia knows UPFs are bad for you. I mean, look around. Oh, by the way, I did say I was going to give you the best study that can possibly be, right? The best study for ultra-processed foods on how it negatively affects a large population. And that study is the United States of fucking America, bitches. Holy shit, look the fuck around. Do you think that people are fucked because they ate too much broccoli? Look at the fucking chronic disease, illness, death we fucking have in our country, and realize that the average American eats over 60% of their food as ultra-processed. Think about that shit. Think about it. What is wrong with you? Like, the study is America. Like, that's the fucking study. And I argue that you can easily see the fucking results. The results are the CDC death statistics, dumbass. That's the results are the conclusion of the study of America is that we die at incredible fucking rates from chronic illness, chronic lifestyle-driven, ultra-processed food-driven fucking illness. It's not even a goddamn debate. Fucking ridiculous. Ridiculous. And by the way, for those people saying that you should debate, I have no doubt that he would not, because we do not like each other. He is a piece of fucking shit human being that lies. There's no sense in debating people that just fucking lie. There's no sense at all. And I just showed you that he completely misrepresented the fucking results of that study. He wanted people to think that ultra-processed foods from the lowest is only 6%. It's only 6%, which, by the way, is still 6%. And one more time, bitches, we closed the fucking world down because of a cold that might have been 3.4%. Like, that was radical change. And this bitch was like, I unfucking believable. Unbelievable how ridiculous this is. But You didn't even represent it correctly because you represented it as it was only 6% from if you wouldn't eat none. And you know you did, you hoe. People of Walmart is the best display of that study. That's what I'm saying. My study is literally the fucking United States of America. This is also a good point. The processed food in other countries isn't even the same as it is in America. They have way less BS in them. I'd imagine for America, you could probably double those numbers. I wouldn't say double because I'm not going to have people like, well, you said this because I'm on camera. You know that we've talked about it. But I will say that that's the fucking truth too. The ultra processed foods you're going to find in China and in Singapore are much more likely to be healthier than the ultra processed foods we have here. Without an argument. So anybody, I'll take Q&A. By the way, I wanted to give everybody our coaching specials. This is our, where is it at? There it is. This is our holiday coaching special. 6 months. You can get the rest of the way through the holidays and then get to the healthiest you've ever been. We do daily communication, weekly video conferences. We've got some huge surprise coming. Huge surprises coming for all of our clients and people on our app. Huge surprises coming. Huge. Like enormous. I'm so fucking excited. I can't wait. I just need to finish the fucking workout. So I cannot fucking wait to tell all you guys. Take us up on this offer. This is 6 months daily communication, weekly video conferences, best-selling weight loss author, and the person that taught him everything he knows, my wife, who is actually my coach. I've also lost 100-some odd pounds and kept it off for fucking years. My last binge was, let me see when my last binge was. Hang on, I got to go to my little thing here. My last binge was 1,754 days ago. 1,754 days ago today. That's fucking killer. All right. Whoop. How many studies look at health span, not just mortality? I want to live long and well. That's the thing, too. That's another thing, too. I completely agree. Health span is something that is completely under talked about. I would argue that a huge portion of the American population is not in their health span already. Like, we've got a bunch of 30-year-olds that waddle. You're not in your health span. I'm not sure how Americanized Singapore is at the time of the study. Well, the study was supposedly over 25 fucking years. So I'd imagine not that Americanized. Comparing ultra-processed foods that are nothing alike, then manipulating data to prove your point is such a joke. Exactly my point. And that's what he does, though. Everybody needs to understand that that's who this person is. That's who this person is, right? Wow. 60% of all Americans are on at least one medication. Says a lot about our health span. Exactly. Like, that is, in fact, the only fucking study we need. America. Look at us. Look at us. The best study about ultra-processed foods and lifestyle is us. Compare us to other countries that eat less ultra-processed food. Compare us to other countries that get out in the sunlight, get activity, don't take in all the fucking bullshit we take in. Compare that shit. Like, that's the fucking issue, people. Nobody wants to talk about it. All right, so here's the thing. Let me check on one thing. Go ahead and ask a few more questions here, people. And one more second. I will be back today at 6 p.m. Eastern time to have another discussion. I'm just going to let it all hang out. We'll do a full Q&A. For those of you that are wondering, I'm doing my health stuff, during the day and at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Some of the days of the week, I'm just going to fucking let it fly. Whatever I fucking feel like talking about, whatever's on the news, whatever we're thinking about. That's what I'm going to fucking talk about, I love my dad, but I don't want his health at 78. I have a friend who is in Pilates instructing health persons, and she is a very active 65. It's easy to understand, like, you don't want their health at 78, but 78, by the way, is now the average age of life expectancy in America. So if they're still alive, they're doing better. the average age of life expectancy is not only dropping, but it is going to motherfucking plummet here in about 5 years. Plummet. Because, very frankly, the damage to most of these people is fucking done. They've already eaten all the ultra-processed foods they can. They've already got it all done. They're fucking fat as fuck. They're unhealthy. If you are on blood pressure medication and you are in your fucking 30s, do something, motherfucker, because the shit that's coming for you is not good. If you have made yourself into a type 2 diabetic, take that shit super fucking seriously or get ready to be called Stumpy. I mean, fucking crazy shit, right? So anyway, one more time, folks, here is where you can get daily communication, weekly video conference call coaching. And please do check me up on that. And I'll take any last questions real quick. And then I'm off to go cook up some fat ass fucking steaks with my lovely wife and have a good day. So, and I'll be back at 6 p.m. Eastern time, by the way. Uh-oh. There it is. Okay, good. Thought I lost something. Lost my dad 3 years ago and my stepmom last week. I'm very, very, very sorry for your loss. Both had heart and kidney failure from diabetes. So sorry to hear about your loss. The worst part, what you got to be thinking is like, damn it, that's fucking preventable. You know, like that's preventable shit. That's where it's got to be like, fuck. You know, like, fuck. All right, folks. I will be back this evening, 6 p.m. Be ready to fucking rock because I'm going to let it all goddamn hang out. So I hope all of you have a fucking fabulous day. By the way, for any of you watching, if you want to fucking nut up, including you, Layne, if you want to fucking nut up, you can join me live tonight. As long as you got your camera on yourself, have a fucking good ass day. I will gladly bring you on. As long as you fucking have your face on camera, you can come on fucking screen, ask questions. I'll do the whole fucking 9 yards and we can fucking go at it. Have a great day. My name's Alan Roberts. Goddamn!